Hello and welcome to my channel. The card I'm sharing with you today is based on a card sketch. This is the one I followed, and this is what I came up with. This on as a challenge to myself to see if I followed a card sketch, what would the results be? I'll leave you to judge for yourself. If you'd like to see how I came up with this card based on this sketch, stick with me and I'll show you how. What I'm using is number 81, and if you would like a copy of this sketch or indeed any in the series, you'll find it over on the blog for John Bloodworth, and he is called Gentleman Crafter. So it's gentlemancrafter.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. There is another Gentleman Crafter in the US, but this is the Gentleman Crafter UK. I've had the pleasure of meeting John a couple of times. He's a very talented man and a very nice one as well. It's going to be placed on a 5x7 card, although these dimensions do not come up to 5x7, and you'll see what I mean in a moment when we start to put it all together. But these are the measurements for the various pieces and how they're laid out on the card. So I'm going to start with my card blank, and that is, I said, going to be a 5x7. So I've got my card, which has been cut to 10x7, and I'm going to score it down the middle. I'm also going to be using a mat for this, which will be cut at 4 7/8 by 6 7/8, so that I just have a little bit of that white showing. Black cardstock for my mat, and as you can see, I've actually taken the center part of it out so that it not only saves on the weight and bulk of the card, but also gives me some extra card that I can play with in other projects. So I'm just going to put this down next. The backing paper now, and that is going to fit right on top of that mat, and you see it's going to leave the same sort of border around it as the mat did to the card blank. This one is cut at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Right, now that that's in place, we can bring our sketch back in and look at the elements that we're going to need to place. And I'm going to start over here on the left with these two pieces. For that, I have a piece which is the 1 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then the 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. Now go ahead and put this piece down first. Sort of guesstimating where it's going to go. I'm not going to worry too much about being absolutely precise, but if you wanted to, of course you could. This starts at 1/4 inch from wherever either your card base or your backing paper will be, and then it's in about 1/4 inch, so down 1/4 inch, in 1/4 inch. But like I said, I'm just really just following the general guidelines here for the placement. I'm going to try to get as close as I can to it, but I'm not going to be absolutely precise. And then you want to come down about a ½ an inch. So could actually look on here that it's probably about like that. We want that piece to go down. And then we'll bring in our 2x4 and 3x1. And this is what I've selected. I've got a piece here that's actually from a piece of border, and this is another scrap piece. This piece and this piece are both the American Craft cardstock, and the backing paper and the papers that I've used here is from a free digital download from Debbie Moore Designs. Now this is going to go on top of this piece, and these should be approximately 1.5 inches down from this piece, and about 1.5 inches inward. So about like that should be fine. And then this will go over top, so it overlaps both this piece and this piece. Play with those a little bit to get them where I would like them. And then the next thing is to begin the decoration. So the basic elements are all on the card now, the 4 pieces. The next thing I'm going to add is this piece, which is from the same sheet that I cut the backing paper out. And this I've cut at 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. I've got these 2 little butterflies. Now these started out just as white die cuts, and then I just lightly went over them with some distress ink in Tattered Rose, and I'm just going to glue them together at this point here. Place this one on top. Match them together there like that. Then what I'll do is bring it up here like so, and then I'll glue down the bottom one and then leave the other more or less floating, and I can actually lift the wings a little bit as well. So let's dab a little bit of glue on here, all around that edge. Place it like that. Just tilt it a little bit there, like so. Then these can be lifted up just a little bit. And even when they go flat, they can still be lifted because they're not actually glued down to the paper, only the bottom one is. So you kind of see that shadow of a butterfly. And I have this. This was a die cut that is actually in a sheet. So I didn't die cut it out myself. It was already made like that. And I'm going to put some foam tape onto the back of it to give it some depth. Adding the liquid glue will just give me a little bit of time in case I need to move it for any reason. And I'm going to place it just above that butterfly, like that. Yeah. For this strip here, I'm going to bring in my pearls and choose where I want them to go. I think I'm going to go with these 3 different sizes down to the tiniest, like that. And I'll just move them into where I want them, like that. This one come down here. They're a little more evenly spaced, that's fine. Don't have to be exact. You could even have them all clustered together at the top or in the middle. You can see the difference here. You just move those up. Actually, I like that. So I think I'm going to go with that. Do you like it in the middle? There we are. It's my mind as to where those little pearls are going to go. I'm going to bring in these little bits. I'm just going to add to the top. Just another little element like that. And here at the bottom as well. I think that's going to do it. I don't normally follow a card sketch, so I did enjoy it. I'm surprised because I thought it would inhibit me, but it really didn't. It was a challenge, but a very nice challenge. I hope you'll be back for more video tutorials. I love sharing with you, and if you have any comments to make or any feedback you'd like to leave me, please do so in the comment section below. In the meantime, please stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.